DMT is a really interesting example. So Terence McKenna has talked about these machine elves, right? And there's this, I think, from the people I've heard speak about the experience, there's a sense that you are traveling elsewhere to meet entities, whether they're elves or not. So, in your sense, you're not traveling elsewhere. You're just revealing something that's within, and maybe it's a particular mechanism of revealing what's already within.
Yeah, and I knew Terence. I spent a lot of time talking with Terence, and I do not ascribe to a lot of things that he was saying. He was a tremendous entertainer, and I think he did a lot of really good things and focused us on, the power of psychedelics. But I think I've never seen these, quote, machine elves. I think culture is more determinative of what people experience under psychedelics, your preconceptions, than we give it credit for. And so I think there's a lot of priming that you could say that people receive by stories from their culture. With ayahuasca, it's about jaguars and Amazonian animals. And so I think these machine elves are this construct of Terence that other people do see. There's actually some people that are very interested in doing a study, and that they're well funded and moving toward it to keep people on an IV infusion of DMT for them specifically to see, do they contact machine elves or aliens, and what kind of information do they bring back from these other selves, other places or other entities. One question is, who are we? Are we connected to everything in the universe? We certainly know in many cases, you talk about waves or particles, the quantum approach. So I don't interpret experiences that we have of some entity that's, somehow or other deep in our consciousness that's not us. It's a part of who we are. So I tend to interpret it in that way.
The question is, how big are we?
Yeah.
I mean, that's and how many ideas are within us that can be revealed by changing the perspective. You mentioned physics. What physicists, especially mathematical physicists or mathematicians, do is they reveal truths by looking at by taking a slightly different perspective on a problem that reveals the simplicity of how it actually works in totally new ways. That's what Einstein did. That's what every progress in physics, and certainly every progress in mathematics, requires you to take a different perspective. And then perhaps that's exactly what psychedelics are doing. It's not that they're contacting aliens that are elsewhere. It may be revealing the connection between us and other living life forms, or actually might be revealing a totally new perspective on what life is or what consciousness is, and giving us a glimpse at that, even though our cognitive capabilities are limited to fully grasp and understand it. So it's just giving us an inkling of that somehow. And it seems perhaps a little ridiculous, not from a scientific perspective, in the sense that we don't have a good physics of life or physics of intelligence or a physics of consciousness, but getting a glimpse of that is giving us a little bit of maybe an intuition of which way to head to build such a physics.
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's this other concept I guess I would like to talk about briefly, this Jungian collective unconscious. This idea that somehow or other everything that has ever happened is still accessible, maybe not with as much data or as much resolution, but that there's, wave resonances, so that I do believe that we can have experiences as part of this human collective unconscious that we're not from our own life.
Yeah.
And that we can, is like the holographic realities, and that there is a way to gather information that can be accurate about other times and places through depth investigations of our own consciousness. But I think what I tend to believe is that it's because there's emotional resonances between where we're at now in this life and, other kind of experiences that people have had before. And, we always hear about everybody who talks about past life, they're always kings and queens,
Yeah.
So I think that's, that's again, you filter things, what you want to be true. But I do think that there is a way to access information beyond what we've taken in our own temporal existence through our own five senses.
In some ways, I really find that compelling, the notion that information is already there and you're simply just moving the attention of your mind to different parts of that.
Yeah. I mean, we have that with the radio. I mean, you got a frequency, you turn all this information. You
right.
could actually say right now, in the space between us, we have the whole world's knowledge that's up on the internet.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yep.
But
We
don't
just have
see
to
it.
tune in.
Yeah.